Curious case of the chronically content couple. Chapter 1. The Ritual of the Rising Sun. Eleanor and Arthur Sterling were, by all accounts, a chronically content couple. Not content in a resigned, comfortable slippers in early bedtime sense, but in a vibrant, almost annoyingly synchronized way. They'd been married for 27 years, and in that time, they'd cultivated a daily rhythm so predictable it could set a Swiss watch. Their mornings began, without fail, at precisely 6:30 a.m. Not with an alarm, mind you, but with Eleanor's internal clock, a mechanism honed over decades to an uncanny precision. Arthur, a man who believed in the gentle art of waking, would stir approximately 30 seconds later, a soft groan escaping him that Eleanor swore was more performance than genuine discomfort. Their mornings unfurled like a well-rehearsed play. Eleanor, a former librarian with a penchant for orderly shelves and even more orderly thoughts, would descend to the kitchen to boil water for their twin French presses. Arthur, a retired history professor whose mind was a sprawling, chaotic archive of obscure facts and forgotten battles, would meander to the bathroom for his meticulous ablutions. The first hint of something awry came on a Tuesday. A Tuesday that, according to the celestial calendar and all known laws of sterling predictability, should have been utterly unremarkable. Eleanor, having poured the steaming water over the freshly ground beans, waited. And waited. The gentle gurgle of the toilet from the bathroom was conspicuously absent. Puzzled, she peered down the hallway. The bathroom door was ajar, and the bathroom itself was empty. A quick check of the bedroom confirmed her suspicion. Arthur wasn't there. Her brow furrowed. Had he perhaps slept in? The thought was so preposterous it almost made her laugh. Arthur Sterling didn't sleep in. He rose. He descended. He caffeinated. She found him in the garden, a place he usually only frequented on weekends for a dutiful, yet unenthusiastic, bout of weeding. He was standing by the rose bushes, not admiring them, but rather staring intently at a single, dew-kissed bloom. He was still in his pajamas, a sight as rare as a comet streaking across the morning sky. Arthur, Eleanor's voice was a careful blend of concern and utter bewilderment. He turned, a faint, almost dreamy smile on his face. Eleanor, look at this, just look at it. The way the light catches the petals, like tiny facets of ruby. And the scent, it's almost intoxicating. Eleanor blinked. Arthur, for all his intellectual brilliance, was not known for his horticultural waxing poetic. His appreciation for roses usually extended to making sure they didn't prick him when he was begrudgingly pruning them. "You're in your pajamas," she stated, as if this were the most crucial detail. Arthur chuckled, a light, almost youthful sound. "Am I? How utterly delightful. I suppose I got a bit sidetracked by the sheer, unadulterated beauty of it all." He gestured vaguely at the garden, a place he'd previously referred to as the green expanse of impending chores. Eleanor felt a prickle of unease. This wasn't just Arthur being a bit off. This was Arthur being an entirely different person. The French presses, she realized with a jolt, were still waiting, growing cold. The clock on the kitchen wall ticked relentlessly onward. 6:45 a.m. Unprecedented. Chapter 2. The Curious Case of the Culinary Conundrum. The morning ritual, once a bedrock of their existence, continued its slow, bewildering unraveling over the next few days. Arthur started taking his coffee black, a stark departure from his usual 2 sugars and a splash of milk. He began wearing mismatched socks, claiming they offered a delightful asymmetry to his otherwise stiflingly symmetrical life. Eleanor, a woman who color-coded her spice rack, found herself staring at his feet with a mixture of horror and grudging amusement. "It's about pushing boundaries, Eleanor," Arthur would declare, flourishing a whisk like a conductor's baton. "About daring to innovate, to truly experience the breadth of flavor. Eleanor, who preferred her boundaries clearly defined and her flavors distinctly recognizable, found herself dining with a mixture of trepidation and curiosity. She'd always taken pride in her consistent, comforting meals. Now, she never knew what gastronomic journey awaited her. One evening, after a particularly daring attempt at molecular gastronomy salmon that involved edible foam and what tasted suspiciously like liquid smoke, Eleanor found herself suppressing a giggle. Arthur, usually so staid and predictable, was now a culinary rogue, a gastronomic maverick. It was utterly ridiculous, and, she had to admit, strangely exhilarating. The constant low hum of their contented predictability had been replaced by a vibrant, albeit slightly chaotic, symphony of new experiences. Eleanor found herself not just adapting, but anticipating what new peculiarity Arthur would unveil next. It was unsettling, yes, but also undeniably interesting. The chronic contentment was still there, a deep, abiding affection, but was now laced with a new, unexpected ingredient: surprise. The changes in Arthur weren't limited to his morning routine or his adventurous palate. His very demeanor had shifted. The neatly pressed shirts were replaced by linen tunics and scarves. His usual quiet contemplation was interspersed with bursts of unbridled enthusiasm for the most unexpected things. One afternoon, Eleanor found him in his study, a place usually reserved for meticulous research and the quiet rustle of turning pages. But Arthur wasn't poring over ancient texts. He was attempting to juggle 3 mandarins with limited success. One bounced off his head, another rolled under his desk, and the third he nearly caught before fumbling it. "Arthur!" Eleanor exclaimed, startled. "What in the world are you doing?" He grinned, retrieving the errant mandarin. "Ah, Eleanor, I've been reading about the historical significance of the jester in medieval courts. Apparently, their ability to subvert expectations and introduce an element of delightful chaos was crucial for social cohesion. I thought I might try to embody that spirit in a small way." Eleanor stared at him. Her Arthur, the man who had once written a monograph on the precise lineage of the Habsburgs, was now quoting medieval jesters. Social cohesion through mandarin juggling? She ventured, a hint of amusement in her voice. "Precisely," he declared, making another valiant, though ultimately futile, attempt. Later that week, Arthur announced he was taking up tango lessons. Eleanor, who had always viewed dancing as a public display of awkwardness best avoided, nearly dropped her teacup. "Tango? Arthur, you have 2 left feet." "A challenge, my dear. A delightful challenge. And think of the passion, the intricate footwork, the sheer, unadulterated drama of it all." He even attempted a dramatic flourish, nearly toppling a vase of peonies. Eleanor observed him, a curious mix of bewilderment and fondness swirling within her. For years, she had been the anchor, the steadying force, the keeper of the rules. Arthur had been the quiet, intellectual counterpoint, reliable and predictable. Now, it was as if a dormant volcano within him had erupted, spewing forth a geyser of whimsy and unexpected delights. And most curious part, Eleanor found herself enjoying it. His newfound spontaneity, while occasionally inconvenient, had injected a vibrant, unpredictable energy into their lives. She found herself laughing more, not just polite chuckles, but genuine, belly-deep laughs that surprised even herself. One evening, as Arthur recounted with theatrical flair his attempts to bake sourdough bread, she caught her reflection in the window. Her shoulders, usually held so stiffly, were relaxed. A smile played on her lips. She looked lighter. The meticulously ordered library of their lives, once filled with predictable volumes, was now teeming with unwritten rules, impromptu performances, and unexpected plot twists.